Unexpected Journey, Memoir of a Siberian Deportee by Juzė Avižienytė-Žukauskiene. Translated from Lithuanian and narrated by Giedrė Kumpikas, niece of the author, and by Isabelle Kumpikas, the sister of the author. Chapter 42, The Beginning of Life Working in Production. And so we were no longer collective farmers. I handed over the office documents to the bookkeeper, the stubs of the expense and disbursement orders, and the balance in the register. My son Stasiukas gave over the brick warehouse. He and my youngest son Juozukas were still attending school, and in the afternoon would pick medunkas, juicy, soft-stemmed, bluish flowers, and goat beards for food. We ate the medunkas raw, but the goat beard heads, I would steam them in a pot, and when I got a glass of milk from somewhere, I would add it to the brew. The children would eat the soup and be happy that it was tasty like an omelette. Both Lude, father and son, after serious illnesses, were back on their feet. Under the window, the warm bed was already green with cabbage heads. In the garden, although they had not sprouted yet, a bed of carrots and turnips were planted. My husband, having received an order from the local hospital, left for the regional hospital. It was possibly only a pretext. Of course, the opinion of stronger doctors was important, but it was even more important to find a shelter for a family and work outside a collective farm. I offered our chata to everyone for sale. But who would buy it and for what? And it had cost us 1,500 rubles. After 3 days, my husband returned and brought back 2 loaves of fragrant bread. We had certainly not expected such a treat. I immediately cut up 1 small loaf and distributed it to everyone. They did not pay attention to my warning not to hurry so, but they all ate it greedily. We bombarded him with questions, where he had been able to get such an unattainable treasure. My husband recounted. I was lucky. By chance, I met the official who, in 1941, had gotten your English suit and velvet dress. He received me like family. It seems that they're organizing a tobacco receiving point in the region, and he is the director. He needs workers badly. He immediately took care of our hiring, gave us papers that we started yesterday. I received a ration card for bread and bread itself. Let's get ready and leave right away. And what about the chata? After all, it cost us a lot. We can't just leave it, I asked him. Oh, the heck with that coffin. Won't these 2 loaves of bread, which we'll get every second day, make up for this shack? Hurriedly, I allotted to my Lithuanian women the beds of carrots, turnip, and onions. We tied up our belongings and loaded down with bundles. We set out on our way. This time the traveling was not difficult, although we walked overburdened. Of what importance were 26 kilometers of a taiga road? Of what importance were swarms of bloodthirsty mosquitoes in comparison with the hope that we would be paid for our work and that we would receive bread? We walked as if on wings and arrived at our destination. The director himself brought us to our abode and said that there should be room enough for 5 more people. The abode was a small house and had been taken from 4 orphan children, and the first workers who had begun building the warehouse for the tobacco point. The store and the barracks for the workers had been settled there. The house had apparently been built by strong owners because it was constructed of good heavy logs, the floor of planed boards, the stove of bricks. There were 3 windows facing south, 2 towards the west. The area was 36 square meters. It was spacious. But besides our family, we found living there the 4 orphans whose parents had built the house. The oldest of these was 17 years old, the youngest 10. In addition to them, a Lithuanian woman, Lazauskiene, with her daughter, was living there, the same woman whose stepson had become deranged and died of starvation at Komarovka. A worker, Navalichina, with her son Subacheva, a laboratory assistant, Zatyepina, and a warehouse woman, Liza Kartashova. In all, there were 16 people. Everyone slept on whatever they had dropped on the floor. We also fell onto the floor, covered only with the clothes we had on, not even undressing, so that the mosquitoes would not eat us up. Just before lying down, we would light a censer of fuel into a dugout clay cavity. We put some embers and on top of that some dried cow dung. This produced good smoke, which the mosquitoes feared most. It was fortunate that the director had a cow and the point had a horse, so we had incense. The preference of cooking on the stove went first to the former owners and to the obnoxious Navalichina, sometimes to the warehouse woman. All of us others cooked outside on small bonfires. The director and his wife, the bookkeeper, and the director's trusted one, Kustova, with 2 children, has settled in the former owner's granary, which had been converted into living quarters. How and when the owners of this house, the Chuvashi Eremeyevs, had wound up here from the region of the Volga, no one knew. The children, born already in Siberia and having lost their parents quite early, did not know much. Their parents had apparently been well off. This was attested to by the good buildings, which had enticed the government to take them from the underaged orphans for the aforementioned point. The children would not go anywhere to complain. There would be less bother. Notes: Medunkas, juicy, soft-stemmed, small bluish flowers. Goat's beards, a weedy European annual with yellow flowers.